As we here at WHSV celebrate 70 years of being on the air with you, our faithful viewers, I wanted to share 70 years of some of the most impactful weather events. Our first day on the air, October 19th, 1953. It was a warm day. In fact, it was the warmest day of the month with a high of 83 degrees. We were actually in the middle of a significant drought during the fall of 1953, and that drought continued right into 1954. That was until Hurricane Hazel moved right through the area.
It's the only storm really sticks out in my mind growing up. I just remember Hazel.
In 1954, Hurricane Hazel was a fast-moving storm that dropped 6 to 11 inches of rain across the area. Because of the drought, that was much-needed rain. High winds battered the region, but this storm, more than anything, busted an old myth.
Well, I know my dad told me, we don't have to worry about hurricanes here because of the mountains all around us. The Blue Ridge and Appalachians, so they don't ever get in here, and we know better than that now.
The following year, in 1955, it was a different story as the area suffered significant flooding with back-to-back hurricanes. First, Hurricane Connie in early August, then just 6 days later, Hurricane Diane. Rainfall from both storms totaling 6 to 20 inches, most of that falling in a matter of 3 days. The Harrisonburg hydroelectric plant was abandoned after the storm due to the flooding and the damage. From flooding to snow.
We had about 2 feet of snow in Bridgewater, and the national books on weather storms, this storm was referred to the Great Shenandoah Valley Snowstorm.
The biggest snowstorm on record for the entire area, the Ash Wednesday storm of March 1962.
We had a long lane, and it drifted 6 and 8 foot high in the lane, and we actually had to get a bulldozer to come in.
Snowfall ranged from 20 to 40 inches and drifts as high as 10 feet. It was so much snow, helicopters had to be sent in to drop off food. Many were trapped in their homes for days. In 1969, it was one of the most devastating storms, Hurricane Camille. More than 25 inches of rain fell in Nelson County within about 7 hours.
It was like being underwater, and you had to hold your hand over your nose and mouth and shield them so the rain wouldn't get in the way and you could breathe.
Dr. Malcolm Tenney describing how heavy the rain fell. It wasn't just flooding, but thousands of mudslides that killed 124 people.
Big surges came down and wiped these little communities out. It just wiped whole families.
However, most of the area was unaffected by Camille's rains, but there was significant flooding in part of Augusta County. The worst damage concentrated in Nelson. Warren and Carl Rains survived, but they lost their parents and 3 siblings.
It was something to see 4 caskets inside of a church. It was more than anybody could stand. Excuse me.
The horrific images of the destruction, entire families lost. It's an event that will not be forgotten. Hurricane Agnes brought widespread flooding in 1972. 4 to 12 inches of rain fell across the area. Easter, March of 1978. The entire area covered in ice. It was one of the worst ice storms in our history.
Ultra creepy, yeah. It was like someone taking sticks and just snap, snap, snap.
Downed branches led to widespread power and phone outages. Small fires sparked by the downed power lines. And the earliest snow on record, October 10th, 1979.
Yeah, the leaves were still on the trees, and that's what made it bad, because it just broke the limbs. Trees right down.
3 to 11 inches of wet snow fell across the region. Early November 1985, Hurricane Juan, or the Election Day floods.
The water rose to the second stories of some houses, forcing families to evacuate.
It was one of the worst flooding disasters ever recorded in the area.
But with roads impassable and bridges out, many were stuck. So the Air National Guard helicopters came to the rescue.
As many as 800 roads and bridges are blocked by high water or mudslides.
The flooding, widespread and extensive throughout West Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley. 47 people died in the state of West Virginia, and most of those people in Pendleton and Grant County. After all of that rain, it took just a few months for the region to end up back in a drought that would last through 1986. Farmers suffered a great loss in the year that followed.